Do you think you know everything about Lost in Space? In reality, there are still deleted scenes that have been permanently erased, never to be witnessed by the audience. Premiering in 1965, Lost in Space wasn't just a science fiction series, it was a symbol of an ambitious era. Set against the historical backdrop of the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union, at its peak, the world's attention was fixed on distant planets where humanity's dream of conquering space was gradually becoming a reality. Inspired by the classic novel The Swiss Family Robinson, and humanity's boundless curiosity about the universe, Lost in Space tells the story of the Robinson family, a group thrust into a survival journey among the stars after their spaceship, the Jupiter 2, veered off course en route to a new planet. But behind the thrilling adventures on screen lies a world of surprising, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes that the audience was never meant to see, and secrets that Lost in Space has kept hidden for decades. What really happened behind the bright stage lights? What secrets were buried during the making of this legendary series? Let's uncover the untold mysteries of Lost in Space, where humanity's dream of reaching the stars was written. Strange secrets of the cast behind the scenes. Lost in Space 1965 was not only a science fiction legend, but also a place where countless strange and humorous behind-the-scenes stories unfolded further, endearing the series to its fans. One of the most fascinating tales involves the secret romance between two child stars Billy Mooney and Angela Cartwright. On screen, they played siblings in the Robinson family, but in real life, 12-year-old Billy fell for 13-year-old Angela as soon as the series began filming. Remarkably, Billy patiently waited until he was old enough to drive before officially asking Angela on a date. Their relationship was so serious that the two were even engaged as teenagers, causing a stir in Hollywood. However, like many youthful romances, they eventually parted ways. Despite this, they maintained a close friendship for decades, making their story a heartwarming highlight in the often turbulent world of showbiz. If Billy and Angela's romance brought sweetness, the episode The Great Vegetable Rebellion brought laughter and controversy. In this episode, the Robinson family faced off against a giant talking carrot that turned them into plants. Even the cast couldn't keep a straight face while reading the script. Jonathan Harris, Dr. Smith, had to reshoot several scenes because he couldn't stop laughing. However, the on-set humour couldn't save this episode from harsh criticism. Many viewers reacted strongly, with some even boycotting the show. As a result, just one episode later, Lost in Space was officially cancelled. It's hard to imagine that a carrot could uproot such a legendary television series. Additionally, Robot B9, a symbol of Lost in Space, was the source of numerous behind-the-scenes mishaps. Bob May, who played the robot, had to wear a suit weighing nearly 200 pounds, about 90 kilograms, which was completely sealed and as hot as an oven. The suit wasn't just heavy, but also had sharp edges, causing Bob to frequently get scratched. The peak of the robot-related incidents came when Bob smoked a cigarette while wearing the suit, and smoke leaked out through its vents. The crew, thinking the robot was on fire, panicked and rushed to extinguish it, creating a moment that was both tense and hilarious. Stories like these helped make Robot B9 a legendary character both on and off screen. Finally, there's a humorous technical error involving Dr. Smith. The Jupiter 2 spaceship had only 6 cryogenic sleep pods, just enough for the Robinson family. But Dr. Smith, who sneaked aboard at the last minute, didn't have a pod. So where did he sleep? This question has puzzled fans for decades. Many humorous theories have been suggested. He slept standing up all night, snuck into someone else's pod, or curled up in the food storage compartment. While the question has never been answered, it has become a running joke among fans, proving the enduring charm of Lost in Space. Unrevealed controversies. Lost in Space holds countless fascinating behind-the-scenes secrets that not every fan knows. One of the biggest mysteries is the unaired pilot episode titled No Place to Hide. This version was produced with a completely different style from the main series. Neither Dr. Smith nor Robot B9, two of the most beloved characters, appeared, and there was no trace of humour. Instead, the episode focused on a serious, even grim atmosphere as the Robinson family struggled to survive amidst space dangers. The No Place to Hide pilot cost a staggering $600,000 to produce, a massive sum at the time. However, it was never broadcast. Instead, the producers decided to reuse many scenes from this version while adding the characters of Dr. Smith and Robot B9, creating a more humorous and adventurous tone that was easier for general audiences to enjoy. This bold and creative decision turned No Place to Hide into a legendary secret that only the most dedicated fans know about. In addition to the mysterious pilot episode, the crew's creativity in recycling props is another noteworthy aspect. With a limited budget, the team frequently repainted and reused props from one episode to the next, transforming them into technologies from different planets. A prime example is the long-range scanner, which appeared in 3 different episodes, each time redesigned with new colours and slight modifications. This resourcefulness not only saved costs, but also maintained the grand visual aesthetic of the series, making it difficult for audiences to notice the reuse. However, this creativity occasionally sparked amusing controversies. In one episode, the production team borrowed the iconic pointed ears of Spock from Star Trek, made slight adjustments, and used them as the defining feature of an alien species in Lost in Space. When viewers noticed, Star Trek fans were outraged, while Lost in Space fans gleefully claimed that the production team had trolled their rivals. In truth, this was simply a backstage agreement between makeup artists. But the story continues to be passed around as a battle between 2 science fiction legends. Another, equally intriguing secret revolves around the conflicting launch dates of the Jupiter 2. In the pilot episode, No Place to Hide, the launch date was explicitly stated as October 16, 1997. However, just a few episodes later in The Derelict, the launch date was changed to October 21, 1997. Strangely, both episodes claim that all events occurred within the first 24 hours after the ship left Earth. This inconsistency left fans puzzled, leading to numerous theories. Was it a scripting error, or an intentional detail meant to create intrigue? Whatever the answer, this detail has become a hot topic of debate among the fan community for years. Additionally, the failed reunion in 1976 is another mysterious behind-the-scenes story. The TV show Family Feud had planned a special reunion with the entire Lost in Space cast. However, at the last minute, Billy Mooney Will Robinson and Jonathan Harris Dr. Smith unexpectedly declined to participate without providing any reason. Their absence drained the reunion of its appeal and raised countless questions. Was there internal conflict among the cast? Or was it just a coincidence? To this day, no one knows the answer. And this event remains one of the greatest mysteries of Lost in Space. Deleted scenes. Lost in Space, 1965, was not only renowned for its intriguing behind-the-scenes stories, but also left fans longing for the deleted scenes moments that could have made the series feel more complete.
Major, you irk me.
Let's see what you make of this protein pill, Robot.
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex.
One of the most controversial deleted scenes in the history of Lost in Space occurred when the Robinson family, along with Dr. Smith and the robot, explored a mysterious spaceship equipped with advanced alien technology. In this scene, while the group investigated the ship's navigation and propulsion systems, Dr. Smith began making sarcastic remarks, mocking the idea that not everything in the universe needed to have practical value on Earth. Unexpectedly, the robot, a character typically portrayed with a neutral tone and an analytical support role, delivered an emotional speech. the robot declared that its system contained 387.44 million miles of printed circuits layered as thin as razor blades. Even if the word hatred were engraved on every nanoangstrom of those layers, it still could not compare to 1/1000th of the hatred it felt toward humanity at that moment. Although this dialogue was profound and philosophical, it was deemed too dark and negative, especially since the show's main audience consisted of children and families. The robot's intense emotions in this scene were considered far removed from the light-hearted adventure tone and positive messages about unity and courage that Lost in Space aimed to deliver. As a result, this scene was removed from the official broadcast for being inconsistent with the series' overall spirit. However, it is precisely the uniqueness and depth of this scene that made it one of the most intriguing and controversial deleted moments among fans. Many viewers believed that keeping this scene would have added more depth to the robot's character, transforming it into something more than a lifeless supporting machine and enriching the story's emotional resonance. In the first episode of Lost in Space, Dr. Smith, the main antagonist, clearly demonstrated his cunning and ruthless nature. Not only did he sabotage the Jupiter 2 by programming the robot to destroy the ship 8 hours after launch, but he also used judo to take down a poor guard and even threw him into the waste disposal chute. This scene effectively portrayed Dr. Smith as a malicious and calculating villain, a stark contrast to the more humorous and less threatening character he became in later seasons. However, in the original script for the episode, Dr. Smith's ruthlessness was taken to an even higher level. Initially, he was described as hiding a poisoned needle in his ring, intending to use it to kill the guard and cover up his sabotage.
Naturally, don't apologize. You've got your job and I've got mine, eh, soldier?
This idea, however, was rejected by the network for being too dark and inappropriate for the show's target audience children. To lighten the tension, the script was revised, replacing the poisoning with a judo scene which reduced the violence while retaining the necessary drama. The first test episode of Lost in Space, titled No Place to Hide, told a completely different story from the official version that audiences came to know. In this version, neither Dr. Smith nor Robot B9, two of the show's iconic characters, existed. Instead, the Robinson family became lost in space when their ship, the Gemini 12, later renamed the Jupiter 2, veered off course after failing to avoid a meteor shower. The story focused on the Robinson family's survival journey. After 3 years in stasis, they landed on a strange, uncharted planet where they faced a series of challenges battling giant Cyclops creatures, exploring ancient alien ruins, and narrowly escaping a massive whirlpool that almost swallowed their amphibious vehicle. Although the pilot featured many exciting science fiction elements, the network felt that the Robinson family merely fleeing from random threats was insufficient to maintain long-term audience interest. They realised the show needed a recurring antagonist to create ongoing conflict, and that's when Dr. Smith and the robot were introduced. Some aspects of No Place to Hide were retained in the official version, but with significant changes. The meteor shower damaging the ship remained the cause of the Robinson family's misfortune. However, in the broadcast version, the reason for the ship veering off course was altered. Dr. Smith, while sabotaging the ship accidentally, became trapped inside. To ensure his plan succeeded, he made some last-minute repairs, causing the ship to become unbalanced. Additionally, Smith's body weight, approximately 250 pounds further, destabilized the ship, sending it hurtling into an asteroid field. Interestingly, both versions highlight a common issue: the colonization mission was nearly doomed from the start. The Jupiter 2's navigation system was not precise enough to adjust its course or compensate for small changes like extra weight. This raised the question of whether humanity's colonization plan was ever truly feasible, even without Dr. Smith's sabotage. Although No Place to Hide was never aired, it remains an important part of Lost in Space history. It not only introduced the initial elements of the series, but also helped shape its style and storyline leading to critical changes that contributed to the success of the official version. Changes like the addition of Dr. Smith and the robot brought a balance of adventure, humour and drama, becoming key factors in establishing Lost in Space as a television legend. The secrets behind the origins of Lost in Space. One of the most remarkable aspects of Lost in Space is its creative origin. Behind its adventurous space storyline lies a unique combination of two classics: the novel The Swiss Family, Robinson 1812, and the comic series Space Family, Robinson 1962. The series not only captured the strong survival spirit of the Robinson family, but elevated their journey to new heights by incorporating elements of space exploration and futuristic technology. This blend showcased the creative vision of the production team and bridged the gap between generations from lovers of classic literature to fans of modern science fiction. Beyond its narrative, Lost in Space left a strong impression with its daring production details, particularly the Jupiter 2 spaceship, an indispensable symbol of the show. Built with a budget of $350,000 in 1965, equivalent to approximately $6 million. Today, the construction of the Jupiter 2 model alone consumed an enormous budget, even surpassing the production cost of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. The ship's interior design, from the command center and sleeping quarters to the engine room, was meticulously crafted to create a sense of realism, making it feel like a spaceship truly capable of interstellar travel. The Jupiter 2 not only dazzled audiences, but also became one of the most iconic spacecraft in the history of science fiction television. However, not all production elements were entirely original. A fascinating behind-the-scenes story involves borrowing props from Star Trek Lost in Space's direct competitor. In one episode, the production team used Spock's signature pointed ear molds, a famous feature of the Star Trek character, slightly modified them, and turned them into the distinguishing trait of an alien species in Lost in Space. When fans noticed, Star Trek enthusiasts criticized it as theft, while Lost in Space fans cheekily viewed it as a humorous victory. In reality, this was simply a minor agreement between makeup artists, but the incident highlighted how the rivalry between these two science fiction legends extended beyond the screen and into the backstage. Another iconic prop from Lost in Space was the Chariot exploration vehicle, an essential part of the Robinsons' journey. With its impressive design and ability to traverse all kinds of terrain, the Chariot not only added thrilling adventure scenes, but also became a symbol of exploration and survival. Though merely a prop, the vehicle left a deep impression on viewers, becoming an unforgettable part of the Lost in Space legacy. Among the standout episodes, Visit to a Hostile Planet remains one of the most memorable. In this episode, the Robinson family unexpectedly travels back in time to Earth in 1947. This was one of the rare episodes to explore time travel in Lost in Space, opening up a new and exciting potential direction for the storyline. However, instead of delving deeply into the event, the episode ended with unanswered questions, leaving viewers intrigued. Was this a standalone episode, or were the producers hinting at a larger narrative arc? While no clear answer was ever given, the episode proved that Lost in Space always knew how to immerse its audience in its fantastical universe. More than half a century has passed, yet the legacy of Lost in Space continues to inspire future generations. The series is not just the story of the Robinson family lost among the stars, but a symbol of an ambitious era where humanity dreamed of exploring distant horizons. Its creative elements, fascinating behind-the-scenes stories, and untold secrets have contributed to the enduring charm of the show. Are you ready to continue exploring the untold stories of Lost in Space? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more fascinating tales.